The handball out. Simpson, Murphy, maybe for the knockout blow. Looks up, looks long, sends it all the way home.
Murphy, Gibbs, Judd, Cruz, not a bad quartet for Carlton over the next decade or so as we welcome Marc Murphy to 1 week at a time, our special guest after round 16. How is the body holding up?
Yeah, not too bad. Everyone's sort of got niggles at this time of year, so just trying to keep on top of them and get through. So hopefully we can got 6 more games and hopefully a few more.
Richard, you can answer this too. I was talking to a footballer a couple of years ago and he said it really took 3 or 4 seasons, pre-seasons under your belt to really get into the swing of AFL footy. Is that a fair statement? How many do you need under your belt?
Yeah, I think most guys do need at least 2 or 3 before they really find their full fitness and their body can stand the rigours of training day in, day out. They do ease them in a lot better now. Back when you first started,
everyone got flogged.
You get flogged, and if you broke down, it was bad luck. But they're really smart now at bringing the guys in and just easing them into the workload, because it is hard work, isn't it? Straight up.
Yeah, it is. I know when I started before Christmas, they eased you in 2 or 3 sessions a week. You train for half an hour, just get you through. Yeah. So they're pretty wary with young guys with the osteitis pubis and all that sort of stuff. So eased in pretty well, and now it's my I've had 3 pre-seasons and starting to get the benefits out of it now.
Talking about three wins in a row to the Blues, first time in about 5 years that's happened, Mark. So it must be a nice feeling to be playing for a winning team.
Yeah, it is the first time since I've been there that we've had 3 in a row. So it's always a good feeling coming in on the Monday after you've had a win and going through the review, and you're not going to get sprayed too much, which is good.
Yeah, Mark, the recent admissions of Scotland and Stevens, has that been a big statement for the rest of the guys as to what's expected?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Scotto and Stevo are in our best 22, but if you're not doing the things that the coaches expect of you, you're going to find yourself on the fringe. So they've gone back, and Scotto came back into the side on the weekend, and hopefully Stevo's only will come back this Friday night. But it's just I suppose a lesson for all the young guys. You've got to do all the team things and all the right things to make sure you get in the game each week.
Yeah.
Speaking of lessons for young guys, what was your initial reaction when you were told that Chris Judd had agreed to come to Carlton? And what was the first time you met him like? What sort of advice, what's the best piece of advice he's given you, and what was it like to meet him for the first time, and how has he been able to mould and guide you and Bryce Gibbs to a certain extent?
Yeah, it was great. Obviously I'd watched a fair bit of him growing up as a teenager, watching him play footy and seeing him perform on the big stage was pretty special to watch. So to have him out there in the middle with you every game and be able to talk to him week to week and pick his brain a bit, he's great. Got some great knowledge on the game and helps out guys like myself, heaps. He's a great role model.
What's the best piece of advice?
Probably the professionalism, just to make sure you're ticking every box and doing everything right all year round, I suppose, to make sure your body's right and get the best out of yourself, I suppose.
Now, Juddy, one of the best area of his game is obviously his work around the stoppages. At a stoppage, as another on-baller, does it give you confidence to be able to maybe push forward and roll the dice a little bit, knowing how good he is at winning it in close?
Yeah, I suppose he's that good in contested ball and always gets heaps of contested ball every game. So, but we're trying to help him out by guys filling in that spot as well, and not just leaving it all up to him to get the hard ball and for all of the other blokes to be receivers. So we're trying to get in there and get the ball out to him because he's such a dangerous running player as well. So we need him on the outside doing those special things that he can do.
If Chris Judd wasn't captain of Carlton, who would be?
Yeah, it's a good question, that one. Not too sure. We've got a lot of young guys there in the development group at the moment that are developing our leadership as individuals. So hopefully Jody's there for another 5 or 6 years being a leader, but someone will step into that down the path. But I'm not too sure really.
Now I saw you play on Saturday, and against Sydney, the Blues are 4 goals at half time. They played dreadfully. And then you go out and kick 15 goals in the second half to turn it completely around. A lot of changes were made by the coach, and they needed to be. Can you tell us what was mentioned at half-time?
Yeah, well, at half-time, Mark called us in as a midfield group and just said that we weren't working hard enough both ways. and I think they doubled our possessions as a midfield group, so they were obviously spreading well and getting the ball out to one another, and we weren't doing that. So we made a real emphasis on spreading away from the stoppage once it got outside the bubble, that we were going to run and take them on, because we know we had more pace than them in that midfield. So that was sort of the main message.
I just thought there were some positional changes that were important. Thornton went on to Jesse White, cut him out of the game.
Yep.
Gibbs no longer ran with goods and became important in the midfield. Cruiser went to the forward line and helped Fev because they had the extra player back there. Changes had to be made, and they were made, and the results were good. So it was pleasing to see the Blues get over the line quarters, but gee...
So, you're always pleased when the Blues get over the line.
But at half-time, they were terrible.
No, I was watching the game.
It actually has been a highlight of your games, though, Murph, this year, where late in third quarters and the start of the last quarter, you've been just able to overrun teams in the last quarter. Is that because you think you're fitter? What can you put the finger on there?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think we're getting fitter as a group. We're starting to mature. I'm in my 4th year, and other young guys have had 2 or 3 pre-seasons as well. So we've just got that belief now, I think, that we can run over sides. And now that we've been winning games of late, that we know we can win games, whereas in the past few years we've probably struggled and haven't been able to close those games out that we should have. So it was a good sign on the weekend that we had our backs against the wall at half-time and playing pretty ordinary footy. To come out and kick, plenty of goals in the second half was pretty good signs.
How hard did the Brisbane Lions court you, and how tough a decision was it? Why did you go with Carlton?
They courted me pretty hard. I was pretty keen to get up there. I was 16, 17, and they sort of made a few intentions that they were going to take me, and I was wrapped being a young kid, just wanted to play out footy. And then
so names like Matthews and Voss spoke to you and took you out for lunch and that sort of thing.
Took out for that famous lunch and dinner and all that sort of stuff. But they've got some great people up there, and obviously great players that have played in a lot of premierships. So it was pretty enticing to go up there. But I was fortunate enough that there was a lot of Victorian-based clubs down the bottom, and I was able to play all right in my TSC Cup year, and got the chance to go to Carlton. And I'm pretty happy where I'm at.
We get the feeling that particularly early on, Rob, the players weren't too happy with the decision, were they? And they made life pretty tough for you a couple of times.
Did they have a go at you? Because I got the feeling they were annoyed you didn't decide to go there. I admire you for staying in Melbourne, but were they a bit dirty on it?
I don't know, you have to ask them, but every time I play Brisbane...
They roughed you up a bit.
They normally get into me a fair bit, so...
it's the big man getting into you there.
It's all a bit of fun. I know Brownie off the field, and he's a good fella, so it's just one of those things. But I enjoy playing Brisbane. It's good to have a crack against him.
This is when you did your shoulder, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was first year, did my shoulder, but probably made me better, maybe probably a bit more stronger knowing that I can sort of get over an injury like that.
Did Dad have much of an influence? Does he tell you what a good footballer he was? Have you seen much of him play?
I know all the time. He doesn't talk too much about his own football. He obviously played a fair while ago. I haven't seen any footage really, so pretty faint to watch it.
Have a look at him. He always had the socks down.
He was a good player, Rob, wasn't he?
He was a terrific player, your father, and he captained Fitzroy for many years. He was a regular Victorian player, best and fairest winner. He did the lot. And sentiment, and I see a bit of you in him, Mark, when I watch you play. And he was a terrific player. Does he come and watch you play each week?
Yeah, he always comes and watches me.
You've got brothers, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got 2 older brothers as well. We've all been sort of keen cricketers and footballers growing up. So Dad loves watching us play footy, and he's always there every week, and he's always got some words of encouragement, always tells me what I'm doing wrong as well. So it's good that you can sort of have the coaches pretty much every day to talk to, but also have Dad to get back and have some words of encouragement or some negativity, which goes a long way.
Now, we're not going to get through an interview without asking about Fev, the big fella. He turned it on last week against us, unfortunately. I got to witness it, but you can't help but be amazed at some of the stuff that he does. What's it like playing with him, and what's he like around the club?
He's a great person around the club. He talks to everyone. He's just a larrikin. What you see is what you get with Fev when you see him on TV. He's one of those blokes who can do anything on the footy field as well. So that goal he kicked last week over his head, me and Gibbsy just laughed when we ran back to the centre, just at some of the things he can do out there.
Yeah. Well, what about the celebrations? You got this little thing going with the fist and then the... just talk us through where did this come from?
Don't know, it's just a few things that we've been...
Who started it?
Don't know, Juddy doesn't mind it, and Fev's pretty big into it, but Simo loves it, and Eddie is always doing the handshakes and all that sort of stuff. It's a it's a bit of a thing that we just do down at the club. It's a bit of fun.
Fev and Eddie are your leading goal kickers. You're number 3. And a lot of people say your kicking's not that good. I reckon your kicking's okay. Have you worked on it in the 3 or 4 years? Are you